3A Sectional 28. We're talking about Lures at West Noble. Lures, man, their offense was, I think they just scored again.
Yeah, I think
Lures,
they did.
No offense to Heritage, but Lures kind of had their way.
It was a 35-0 midway through the first, it felt like. I think it was not good.
It wasn't pretty, I guess, if you were not a Lures fan at Lures Field on Friday night. And then West Noble's 8-2, and then you got Belmont versus Concordia at Concordia. On paper, this looks like two teams that we could be seeing playing each other that we saw play in the regular season. I think a lot of people would circle Concordia, Bishop Lures playing next week, but I think Lures will get tested a little bit by West Noble, specifically because West Noble has a ground game.
I think that if Lures comes in and takes things for granted against an NECC team that's not named Angola, that I think they have to kind of make some plays early on. And I think West Noble, like you said, can control the line of scrimmage a little bit. They can get that run game going. They can eat up 8 minutes off the clock in a quarter and kind of be there at halftime, maybe like a 21-10 game, 21-13 maybe, before Lures really gets traction. But I think if Lures comes in, zeroed in, and doesn't mess around like they did last week, I think maybe not as lopsided as last week, but I think Lures coasts.
Yeah, Brandon Pruitt, running back for West Noble, almost 1,300 yards rushing this season. That's going to be the key, is making sure that West Noble throws the football if you're Lures, because the running game has been spectacular so far this season.
Yeah, Brandon Pruitt has been really impressive against almost every opponent that West Noble
and he's not a little guy. Like, he looks the part. He looks like a guy that could play in the SAC.
He looks like a dude that can, lower his shoulder and run over some guys. And I don't think you have too many of those type of guys in the SAC this year. A lot more scat back kind of guys, a couple guys that can run through people. But Pruitt's a different type of runner than what Bishop Lures has seen. I think he can move the chains a little bit, but overall, just too much athleticism for Lures.
And then Concordia, Belmont got their first win of the season last week as they beat Garrett in a 16-6 game. Concordia kind of got tested a little bit by Lakeland with their running game, but came out victorious on the road. I would imagine Concordia is just trying to fine-tune some things this week, not taking Belmont for granted, but trying to get the offense and defense ready for perhaps a rematch against Bishop Lures.
I think both of Lures and Concordia approach this week the same. Look, let's execute, get up early, and then get our reserves in the second half and kind of prepare for the sectional championship week. We saw Lures last week able to put a lot of underclassmen and freshmen were in for the majority of the fourth. I think that's why Concordia and Lures both approach this week and say, hey, get in, take care of business first two quarters. After halftime, we rest our starters, prepare for that big showdown in week 12.